Hey everyone, Becca here from Inside the Square. We'll get started here in just a minute. Please hop into the chat and let me know if you can hear me okay. Hopefully we're good. I'm trying to find my chat window. There we go. All right, I'm getting some thumbs up. People are here. Good morning, good morning. We'll get started oh so soon. Hang on just a second here. Got the countdown going, so I will see you super soon. Awesome. Got another thumbs up. Thank you so much. I'm glad you can hear me. Fantastic. Okay, this countdown is taking a while. We are almost there. We'll go ahead and call it as just about done. I'm camera ready. Thanks for letting me know you can hear me. I appreciate it. Are we ready to get this party started? I think we are. All right, we'll get rid of that countdown. There we go. Good morning. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me for this Blueprint demo. I'm Becca Harpain, Squarespace expert, creator of InsideTheSquare.co, and I think I should add AI enthusiast to my title. What do you think? I think that could be a fun thing to throw in there. So in this particular live class today, I wanted to share with you the updates that Squarespace has made to Blueprint. Blueprint is a Squarespace program that was, or I guess an interface is what I should say. It's a Squarespace interface that guides you through the process of creating the perfect template for your specific website. Now, to be honest, after exploring this process, being a Squarespace designer, I was kind of on the fence. I'm not really a big fan of the template design process because I know how Squarespace works. I know what I want to create, and I feel like there were a few things that were missing. But then, oh, sounds like somebody can barely hear me. Let me make sure this microphone's turned up. There we go. All right, we should be good. Thanks, Tony. So after I gave it a try, I wasn't too impressed, again, because I know Squarespace so well. I knew how to build what I needed, but then they added a new element. They integrated Blueprint with Squarespace AI, the content generator. If you've ever used Squarespace's little lightning bolt icon, that's a content generator. And Blueprint can actually use that content generator to populate all the pages that you've created in your own custom template. It was pretty fascinating, pretty interesting stuff. So I think we should give it a try together. I'm going to walk you through the whole process of using Blueprint to show you what kind of template it can create. Then we'll add that AI feature to see what kind of content it writes for us. And then we'll hang out and chat about the whole thing. So if you have any questions along the way, pop them in the chat. I can see them going on there. Hey, Stacy, thanks for joining. Fantastic. Just let me know what your questions are. I'll close the chat while I'm presenting so I don't get too distracted because that happens to me really easily. But otherwise, we'll go ahead and get started with Blueprint, and then we'll talk about all of the cool things that Squarespace AI can do and what we think about it as Squarespace users, if it's something you see yourself using. I'm very curious about your opinion on this as well. All right, let's get to the demo, shall we? In the chat, you're going to find a link to this. You'll see the URL at the very top. It says squarespace.com/templates/custom website templates. Why this isn't at squarespace.com/blueprint, I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's so silly that they didn't put it at their own URL. But this is where we go. It's linked in the chat. Here we are. It says, let's make a template that's unique to you. We'll say, let's go, and we'll get started. Now, we'll ask you to sign in or associate you with an account if you don't have one yet. And immediately, it's going to start giving us the domain at the top, and we're going through the Blueprint process. BYOT in this URL, that stands for Build Your Own Template. So we've got a brand new Squarespace website, and we're in our very first question. What is your site called? Now, Squarespace reminds us of this a few times throughout this process. I'll zoom in on the screen here a little bit. No worries if you're still brainstorming, you can update your title later. Everything we're doing here inside Blueprint is just as editable as every other Squarespace website you've ever built. Nothing is set in stone. It's all online, so we can change it later. But for now, what should we call our site title? How about we call this one Blueprint Live Demo? Let's be specific, shall we? Now, immediately, you'll see on the left-hand side, this text is updating. I think this is a little UX indicator, a little UI design right here saying, hey, pay attention to this part of your screen. This is going to have some cool stuff going on. So it's added our text here. Let's move on to the next step. Second question is about building our home page. Now, this gets pretty interesting. We have all these options on the right-hand side of sections that we'd want to add to our home page. Intro, products, services, appointments, digital products. That means courses and memberships, just to be clear. then about, social, forms, and footer. Now I think everyone should have a footer section and an intro section. So we'll go ahead and click those. We'll select intro and we'll select footer. Let's go ahead and add products, and how about an about section? Immediately, you'll see all of this content being added. Here's where it gets pretty interesting. Over here on the left-hand side, we can see all of this content. We can't click into anything. I can't change the images. I can't change the text. That all is going to happen after Blueprint builds our site for us. We're just looking at the template. We're looking at the filler images, the filler text. All of this stuff isn't editable except for the layouts. We have additional options. Check it out. See the change layout button right here? When I click on this, I can choose a different layout option for that section. Now, there are only a few here. If you have used page sections in Squarespace 7.1 before, you'll know that we have a lot more pre-made page sections to work with. But here in Blueprint, we've got a few to get us started. I honestly think they were trying to make sure that people new to Squarespace weren't overwhelmed by all of their options or the ability to click into anything. They're trying to guide us through the process of creating here. So we'll start with this one. Let's take a look at the product section. We can select change layout. Maybe we want shop our products and it has the scrolling marquee on there, or behind everything is the scrolling marquee. Who isn't a fan of that one, right? Gotta have the animation. Large and small products. I like this one. We're going to go with shop our product right here. Okay, let's scroll down a little bit. Here's the about section. We can change layouts here. And again, you'll find a lot more layouts inside the page section in Squarespace when you're editing, but they're trying to limit us here in Blueprint. I think, again, they don't want us to be overwhelmed by all of our options. And just like everything in Squarespace, it doesn't matter where you start. We can completely get rid of this section. We can redo the whole thing. We can add a bunch above and below it, rearrange them in any order we want. All of the editing is done after this template is built. So get started. Get started with what they're working on. All right, I'll click down here to change this layout. Let's go with this one with site links. I love a massive amount of internal site links, a little extra navigation in the footer. That's a great design technique right there. I love it. So we're going to go with this. This is going to get us started on our website. We ready to keep going? Okay, next step, we're going to add pages. Clicking into our pages option, this is where things have already changed. Here, we can add entire pages, but we can't even select layouts here. Now, this is really interesting. You'll see we have about and contact, but here, all I can do is click through to those two different pages. There's nothing else to change. There's no alternative option for a contact page. No alternative layout for an about page. These are single page section pages created in our template. So we're going to need to edit these a lot. These are really simple pages, and honestly, maybe you don't need to edit it a lot. Maybe that's all you want for your about page. But I thought it was interesting that unlike the home page, we don't have a lot of design flexibility here. It's literally just creating this base page that we will then add to and customize with everything that we need to. All right, we were selling things. Let's add shop. And then over here, it also says, okay, we've got about contact. It says shop, services, appointments, and course. And that was a big red flag to me because it doesn't say blog. It doesn't say events. And shop doesn't say products or digital products. There's no membership site. Some of the standard pages that a lot of my clients ask for aren't there in that section, which I thought was really interesting. But just like Squarespace says multiple times here, we can add and remove anything later, and you can always add a blog to any Squarespace website. I actually have 4 blogs on InsideTheSquare.co. I've got a lot of blog content there. I use it for all kinds of different things. So you can add a blog later, but I really wanted to point out here that while you're using this template, if maybe you're using it to create a site for a client, or you have them get started, then you take over on their site, make sure they know that this isn't the limit. You can add more types of content than what's on this list. Squarespace can do a lot more things than just about, contact, shop, services, appointments, and course. Seem like a really limited list. Let me know in the comments if you agree, and if you have more than one blog on your Squarespace website like I do. Okay, let's keep going. We're on to the fun stuff. If you know anything about me at Inside the Square, I love customizing the style. Changing the style of a Squarespace website is my happy place. That's what I love to do. So I got really excited when I saw colors and fonts here. Now these color palettes are what we're used to seeing inside the design menu. And again, you can change up everything later on. But I thought it was cool to see this interactive element where we can click on anything and the whole site updates. We've got some fun ones down here. Everything is going to change to match those, and we can see it on our home page. We can really get a sense for what these colors will look like. Now, personally, I could see this being a time saver for me as a designer if I found a set of color palettes that I really enjoyed, but also the concept of having this pre-made homepage created for me. Then I can add my own color palettes and take screenshots of what it looks like and have my clients pick option A, option B. Let's say they don't have colors to start with. Now, at this stage in my own design career, I don't think I've encountered a client that didn't have a specific color palette for the last couple of years. But just in case they're really open to anything, you can use this as inspiration. Maybe record your screen as you click through these to try and steer them towards a neutral color palette or a bright one or a bold one. You've got a lot of options. How about we stick with bold? I like that kind of lilac-y purple color. We're going to go with that one for our demo today. All right, next up we have fonts. Here in our fonts, we can choose a font pairing. Now they have a limited selection of font pairings for what we're used to seeing in the design menu, if you've used a site styles menu in Squarespace. But again, just like the color palettes, these are expertly designed or expertly created. These pairs were created by designers at Squarespace that they paid these designers to come up with some really good ideas. So I like some of these pairs. I think they did a good job. We can see immediately what our site looks like if we try different styles of font. I think it's fascinating to see how it really changes the vibe, right? You click on this one, it's got some creative fonts there. That is completely different than if we went with something fancy like this. I would consider this a completely different product than maybe this one with the rounded sans serif letters. Lots of interesting options for font pairs here. Again, just like I recommended with colors, it could be fun to take your clients through here and click around to show them some of their options. If they don't have a specific font that they want to use, you could inspire them to try something a little more creative than they might be comfortable with. So definitely exploring those could be a good feature for using this as a designer. I do like how it updates everything live. All right, we've got one more thing. We're going to get into the AI. So I'm going to have a sip of coffee because, man, that's going to be fun. All right, here we go. On to the next step. Drum roll, please. This is the exciting one. Here we go. It's collecting our pages. Squarespace is building our site, and then it's going to ask us the best question ever. Do you want to personalize your website text with Squarespace AI? Now, to be clear, you can totally select skip. You don't have to do this. Technically, the blueprint process is done. 5 questions answered. Site title was answered. Homepage was created. Additional pages were added. Colors were selected. Fonts were picked. Technically, our site is ready to go. We can hop in there and start customizing the heck out of it. Or we can use Squarespace's content generating AI to fill in all of the content on the site with what it thinks we could start to write and what it thinks we want to say. So I'm going to go ahead and select continue because I think this part's really cool. All right. The first thing it says is describe your new site. It asks for details about your brand or your expertise. I think I actually have a slide about this because I thought it was pretty interesting. Maybe I don't. Let's see here. I think it's, yeah, okay. I've got the example pulled up for us here. Let me put this on the screen for you. So the 4 things that you need to include in your AI prompt. This is so important. If you're going to use this AI aspect of filling out the content on your site, you need to tell Squarespace these 4 specific things. What you do, where you are, what your business is called, or what you're called, whatever you're building the site for, and then what you're known for, your specialty. These are 4 things that you need to include in this specific AI prompt for Squarespace, okay? What you do, your product or your service, where you are located, where people can find you, and what you're called, what your business name is, and what you're known for, your specialty. It's super important to add all of these. All right, I'll go ahead and take that screen down. We'll get back to Blueprint here. Let's describe our site using those 4 things. They have the example text here. I'm a commercial photographer based in LA. My photo studio, name I can't pronounce, offers portrait photography packages for families and couples. See those 4 things mentioned? Who they are, where they are, let's see, what they do, where they are, who they are, and what their specialty is. Those are the 4 things. Now, they don't necessarily need to be in that order. I got a little jumbled there for a minute. But I'm going to lean into the NASA shirt here. I did this in a demo that I recorded for Blueprint a little while ago. I think I'm going to lean back into it again. I'm going to say this website is for a Martian Tourism Association, based in, I've got a poster on my wall here of this, so I'm going to say based in Valinus Marinus, if I can spell it correctly. Marineris. There we go. Look at me pulling out those nerd skills. All right. We offer tours of the Martian landscape for new residents. There we go. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to be super nerds and go to space together. Okay. Now we've described our new site. Let's see what Squarespace does for us. We've got one more question before it's going to take all of the content on our site and fill it in with generative AI. I'll select next, and here's the question. We need to select the writing style. Most of you who are comfortable with using any GPT like ChatGPT or one that someone else has created, or Google's Gemini, for example, if you've used a chatbot to generate content, you can often add a tone to your prompt where you say, write this in a friendly way or make that more professional, something along those lines. This is exactly what Squarespace is asking us to select for all of the content of our website. Pretty interesting, right? Let me know in the comments if you have used any chatbot of any kind, any type of AI content generator, what kind it was, and if you referenced a tone in your prompt. I try to do that in every prompt that I write. I think it's really important. But that's what Squarespace is walking us through right now. It's like, seriously, I need to make sure I understand your style before I write the content for your site. All right, so it's using the font that we already selected, which I think is a great touch. And here, this is our neutral tone. It talks about unique tours of breathtaking Martian landscapes, exploring their new home on Mars. We talked about new residents, and it's already got that, so that's cool. But we can also hop into playful, see what the playful text is. And as it generates this, I do want to mention it's incredibly important that no matter what AI writes for you on your website, it needs the human touch. You should never, ever just copy and paste what AI says for you. You need to go in there and make sure it's uniquely yours. You need to add your personality, your personal touch to it, and make sure it's accurate. I'll show you a little bit more once we get into the demo, but I just wanted to mention that while we're getting excited about AI here. Okay, so this one is playful. I like the unforgettable tour experience like no other. That's fun. That could help us stand out from the competition. Then we have professional. I saw that in professional, they seem to elaborate a little bit more and use larger terms, which I liked. Immersive tours, that's a good one. Notice how this is becoming a little bit longer than maybe the playful one, which was a few short sentences. It really does have a good grasp on tone. I would strongly encourage you, no matter which one of these styles you're leaning towards, to read all of them first. You really should. You should give a try to every single one of these first just to see if it might be more in line with what you're going for. I could think that friendly is it, but I might actually want neutral. I could think that informative is right, but playful might actually sound more like the tone that I would write in, which is going to be the tone of all of the content on my site. So definitely explore all 6. Here we've got another one, looking to explore the beauty. Fantastic. All right, let's see quirky. And while we're checking out quirky, please let me know in the comments which one should we go for. Should we do neutral, playful, professional, friendly, informative, or quirky? I like that this one immediately pulls the red planet. It's like, we're going to use the slang term for Mars. Everybody calls it the red planet, right? So that's always fun. All right, anybody in the comments, let me know. I'm going to pull that open right now. Let's see what we've got. Okay, I've got a vote for playful here. Should we go with playful? Okay, we're going to do playful. Nope, another vote for quirky. All right, it's neck and neck. We're going to go with quirky. Okay, I'm seeing more quirky. That's what we're going to do. Awesome. All right, we're going to go with quirky, and we'll select finish. And Squarespace will show us a fancy animation to distract us while it puts things on our website. Perfect time to grab a sip of coffee. There we go. Fun fact, I actually am cutting back on caffeine, especially for these lives because I talk so fast. So I'm drinking this coffee replacement thing called Joey. It's pretty good. I actually like it. It's kind of a rich, almost chocolatey flavor. I'm really a fan. I'll link to it in the description below if you want to try it, if you want to start cutting back on caffeine like me. All right, back to the demo. Here we go. Here we have our Blueprint live demo. Our site title is in here, but check it out. The homepage says, "Welcome to the Martian Adventure." And if we scroll down, look at this. Embark on a crater-tastic adventure. Also fun. Join us in exploring the red planet. All of the content on our website has been replaced and regenerated or generated by Squarespace AI to match the tone and express the 4 things that we listed in the prompt. How cool is this? This right here, this AI content generating feature, is why I actually am considering using this for my next client project. Now, to be super clear, I'm going to sit there with the client and walk them through this. And after this content is generated, we're going to add their own spin to everything. And of course, me as the designer, I'm actually going to save all of the pages over in a different section, a private folder on the site, and create the content myself because I have a much clearer design direction on where I want to go for this client. But the fact that all this content was generated in just a few clicks is the biggest time saver of them all. This will be really inspirational for my client to prepare copy and for me to have something to work with. It is so much better than a lorem ipsum content, okay? So we're going to click into pages here. Here we can see all the pages that we created. Now this part is super important. We have this contact page here, but I want you to notice this. This is why you have to go through all of the content. This is why this content is generated as inspiration, but not what you should leave on your site. That's not my URL. That URL is probably taken by somebody. This isn't my address on Mars. I don't know if we have Martian addresses yet. We will someday, but not right now. So it's just kind of interesting that we have all of this content put on here in Squarespace. AI just kind of guessed for us. It also guessed what our products were going to be. If we hop here into the demo, it just has blank product names. I should have shown you a services page. Services guesses it for you. But here in like the about section, it talks a little bit more about things that we might not actually be offering at this specific business. So it's really, really important to go through all this content and again, consider it inspiration. So I love the idea of walking my client through the process of Blueprint and selecting every single page that might be related to their business, then pulling those all over into a folder and referencing that content that Squarespace AI has written for us based on their feedback. I think it could be really inspirational, but as a designer, that's the only way I see myself utilizing Blueprint. I feel like I know Squarespace enough that I can design it faster if I just start from scratch, but I use it all the time, every day, constantly, for almost a decade now. So I'm kind of biased in that perspective. Now, I do want to mention, once we're in here, you need to change all of the pictures. So you're definitely going to change the copy, but you've got to edit all the pictures as well. These are just filler pictures that don't have anything to do with what we're talking about. Hop into edit mode and you'll see this site is built just the way standard Squarespace websites are. Double click on any image block and replace it with uploading one, selecting one from the library, grabbing one from the Unsplash database. We'll probably find a Mars picture here. There we go. Let's stick with that astronaut there. Perfect. All right, we've got an awesome Martian adventure photo that's going to be added to our site. And let's say we're working on this and this is great, but you know what? Purple buttons, that doesn't really vibe with the Martian vibe. We need to change those site styles. I'll select save and we'll open up our site styles menu and here we'll find colors. Let's change this palette. How about we go for a very vibrant, but an orangey red here, kind of a rusty Martian red. There we go. I like that rusty Martian red. And now all of the buttons have changed. They look a lot more in line with our style. And maybe we decide that heading font isn't the heading font we want. We can hop into the fonts menu, hop into the font pack, or just grab headings and say, you know what? Let's pick something a little bit different. Selecting browse all fonts, we can scroll through the entire font database that anyone who's familiar with Squarespace is used to using. This is where you can add things like, let's say we want to choose this font instead. You can pick fonts that are in the Google font database, as well as a lot of the Adobe font databases. Tons of fun fonts to choose from in there. Lots of cool stuff to explore. So definitely check that out. That's going to be way too big. I got to pull this back a little bit. There we go. All right, I like that font a little bit better. We'll roll with this one. Now, if you are not familiar with Squarespace at all, if you're already like, my mind is blown, how do I edit these? What do you mean a page in the not linked section? If you don't know how to use that content, I do have a little mini course that I've created at insidethesquare.co/start. It walks you through building your site. I've got 9 lessons in there, navigating the editor, global elements, site style, mobile edits, launch checklist, lots of fun stuff there. I'll link to that in the description below. But let's say you're familiar with it and you want to explore AI just a little bit more. I've got more presents for you. This one's a free one, a free prompt pack specific for Squarespace AI. It talks about those 5 things that every prompt needs. 4 of them we went through, and that 5th one, that was what Squarespace shared with us, which was picking our tone. But here in this prompt pack, I've written out 22 prompts that you can use for creating content on your website that are specific for Squarespace. So you can grab a copy of this at insidethesquare.co/prompt if you're ready to dig into AI a little bit more. Now, I am very excited about it. This was a lot of fun to play around with. Again, I don't see myself relying on the design features of Blueprint, but I see myself relying on the content generating features. Because let's be honest, if I sat here and I needed it to create content for 5 homepage sections, maybe there are only 3 there, 3 homepage sections, a contact page, an about page, and maybe a services page or any other page on my site, we're talking about me spending well over an hour or 2 of just typing in the right prompt and getting it to refine the content to fit the design that I created. Whereas with Blueprint, I answer the question, I pick a style, and I say go, and it builds it for me. It definitely is a time saver in that regard. But that's just my opinion of Blueprint right out of the gate. I think the demo is done. I think we're ready. I'm going to hop back in the chat. What did you think? What do you think about Squarespace Blueprint? Are you going to give it a try? I would love to hear from you. All right, I'm getting quite a few thumbs up here, which is awesome. It's definitely an interesting concept. That's my perspective as a designer. That's how I feel about Blueprint. If you want to learn a little bit more, I have a slightly slower demo on my site at insidethesquare.co/blueprint. We'll just go right there. Here you can find a little bit more information. I've typed all the stuff out. I've added some related content here. Head on over to insidethesquare.co/blueprint if you want to dig into it just a little bit more. But that kind of wraps it up for the demo. That was a pretty quick one, about half an hour today. I'm going to grab some water really quick. If you have any questions about Blueprint, let me know, okay? Okay, awesome. All right, I'm seeing 2 questions come in. One of them is about the content generation. That's true. It didn't update the products for us. Hopping back into here, but under shop, that said demo on it before we clicked on it. It didn't update the product names or give us product descriptions, but it does do that for services. So that's an important thing to know. I did do this in a demo before where I selected services, and that was one of the things on the list. And if you go to squarespace.com/blueprint, there you'll see a slower demo kind of walking through each of those individual things. The 4 things, that was the other question. Let me grab those 4 things for you. The 4 things that should be included in every prompt. What you do, where you are, what you're called. It could be your business name, or if you're building a website that's specific for one person, you've got that. And then what you're known for, your specialty. Those are the 4 things you should include in your AI prompt. I realized I spelled prompt incorrectly. That's funny. I did that a little too fast today. But that's what you should list inside your prompt, and then use Squarespace generative AI to select one of the styles. Now, to be clear though, when you're using the AI inside Squarespace, like let's say we want to use it to, actually I don't think we can do that for the product. Let's get out of there. Let's go to the, oops. Here, we'll add a new page. How about we add a blog? I would love to add a blog. Let's do that. I think every Squarespace website needs a blog. We'll just call this blog. We'll hop in here and let's explore Squarespace AI really quick. Hopping in the blog post itself. I'm going to click here, and actually let's just click the lightning bolt right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, write a paragraph about a tour of, how about Olympus Mons, one of the highest peaks on Mars. I keep looking over here because I have my space posters on the wall, and I want to spell it correctly. All right. And then I also want to add here, write a paragraph about this and make it friendly. And let's see what it comes up with. This little lightning bolt is Squarespace AI doing its thing. Okay, we've got some content there. Let's go ahead and remove this demo content. All right, and it started to write our blog post for us. Now, as always, with any AI copy, we're going to need to review this, but that's how you reach Squarespace AI. You click that little lightning bolt and you type it in there. Let's use one of the prompts from my prompt pack for something else. Let's see here. All right, let's start with this one. Hopping back here, I'm going to remove that text. We'll click into AI, and we're going to say, let me move my screen over, create a 3-paragraph blog post with the title, The Ultimate Guide to Olympus Mons. Let's see, The Ultimate Hiking Guide. How about that one? This post will be in our blog section and should have authoritative and informative, let's see, friendly for our potential tour guests. How about that one? Let's see what it writes for us. This will be a fun example here. Okay, it gives us the title. It's writing 1, 2, 3 paragraphs. That's perfect. That's exactly what we needed. Now, again, we're going to go through all the content and make sure it's exactly up to date for our tone. It reflects who we're actually trying to represent as our website. Never take AI copy and use it as your own. Give it your little personal zhuzh, your manual Midas touch, I like to say. I know it's cheesy, but it's fun to say. And that's how you can use a prompt to generate more content in your Squarespace website using Squarespace AI. So that was just one of the prompts in here. I've got 22 in my prompt pack. Grab it for free inside thesquare.co/prompt. You'll be good to go. How many times did I say prompt today? Was anyone keeping record? All right. Fantastic. Okay, I think we're going to call this demo done. This was so much fun today. Thank you for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you're excited about Blueprint. If you're watching this replay, still hop in the comments and let me know what you think of this program, if you see yourself using it. Again, I see myself using it from the perspective of content generation, not necessarily template creation. But again, I'm really comfortable with Squarespace. I know what I'm doing in there. I've been in there for years now, and it's my happy place online. I understand how the program works. For those of us that are kind of new to Squarespace, this might be perfect for you, so don't be shy. Let me know in the comments if you're going to give it a try. And grab that prompt pack if you want to explore more about content creation with Squarespace AI. It's not a chatbot like ChatGPT or Google's Gemini. So we have to be a lot more specific about what we say specifically for our prompts. So definitely check that out. All right, thanks again for joining me today. I really appreciate having you here. If you want to join me for another live stream, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and we're good to go there. Otherwise, I'm going to throw up my outro video and we'll call this one good to go. Thanks again. And most importantly, have fun with your Squarespace website. Bye for now.